Good day. My name is Adam Sinswat. I am a computer programmer 1 at the Department of Health Center for Health Development, and I will be teaching you how to use the pregnancy tracking system. First, you will need to have your facility admin to log in. Go to the pregnancy tracking system URL, https://pts.dohsox.com/pts/login. Type in your username and password, then click sign in. Once you're logged in, you'll notice you'll be greeted by a pop-up. Click the X button on the top right to close it. Next, you'll be creating a new account for the IT support of the facility. Click the Manage button on the middle of the task panel, then click IT support/call center/bed. You'll notice there are 3 colored buttons. Click on the Add User button. Provide the information of the IT support, such as their first name, middle name, last name, contact number, email address. Do note that their email address is only optional. Select which facility the IT support belongs to. Their designation. And set their access level to IT support. Lastly, type the username and password of the IT support. Retype the password in the Confirm Password portion, then click Save. After creating the IT support account, we can then search for his or her name in the text box. Click on the search button or simply just type Enter on the keyboard. Click on the IT support's name to view their details. You can also change any details by clicking Update after any change done. For the next step, we're going to create an account for the doctor of the facility. Log out of the facility admin's account by going to the Settings button in the taskbar, then click Log Out. Next, have the IT support login using their username and password. Click on the Manage Users button. Click on the Add User button. Simply do the step done earlier for creating the IT support account. This time, set the department for the doctor to OB. Set the level for the account to doctor. Click Save once you're done. Click on the Created Account for the doctor if you wish to view all the details. You can change any details you wish. When you're done, just click on Update to save the changes. But we'll just cancel this time. Now we're going to add a new patient. Just like earlier, we're going to log out the account by going to Settings and clicking the Logout button. Have the doctor log in using their username and password. If you ever encounter this error, don't worry. It just means you typed your username or password wrong. If you forgot both of them, simply request your IT support person to update your username and password. Once you're logged in, click on the Patients button, then click List of Patients. Type the patient's first name to at least check that there is no prior record of them in the system. Click Filter to search for the patient. It would seem that no patient with this name exists. We can then go ahead and add patient. In the Add New Patient page, encode all the details of the patient, which includes their PhilHealth status, PhilHealth ID, only applicable when their PhilHealth status is set to member or dependent, first name, middle name, last name, contact number, birth date, sex, civil status, municipality or city, and barangay. Don't forget to get the patient's consent to upload their patient details to the e-referral system. Have the patient read the patient consent form and provide their signature over printed name and their contact number. Then the representative of the health facility to provide their signature over printed name. Once that's done, go back to the previous page and click on the Yes option for the patient consent if they agree. Click on No if they don't give consent. Then click Submit. We can now see the patient in the patient list. Click on the patient's name to view all of their details. You can also opt to change their details if there were any mistakes during the encoding. Click on Save once you're done, but we're going to cancel since there's no need for that. I made a mistake during the encoding of the patient's birth date. But don't worry, we can update their details just like I mentioned earlier. In this step, we're going to add the patient's information. You'll notice that there's new actions on the right side of the patient's details. Click on the Add button to add more of their details. Provide all the necessary information in the Personal Data section. These information include religion, ethnicity, educational attainment, family monthly income, sibling rank, which refers if the patient is the eldest, middle child, or youngest. Select which is appropriate. Then select how many children are in their family. In the second part of the personal data, provide the gravidity, parity, height, weight, fundic height, heart rate, LMP, EDC or EDD, FTPAL. The BMI will be automatically computed if you provided their height and weight. Provide their BP, temperature, respiratory rate, TD1, TD2 until TD5. Once you're done encoding the personal data, click the antepartum conditions name on the top. In the antepartum conditions section, select the risk factor or risk factors of the patient. Add any additional remarks or management for the patient, such as their subjective BP, temperature, heart rate, respiratory rate, FH, FHT, assessment or diagnosis, and plan or intervention. Do note that the BP, temperature, heart rate, respiratory rate, FH, and FHT will be automatically filled up if they were supplied in the personal data section. Once you're done, click on the sign and symptoms name at the top. Click at least one of the categories in the risk factor category. Lastly, provide the subjective, AOG, and just like earlier, BP, temperature, heart rate, respiratory rate, FH, and FHT will be automatically filled up if they were supplied in the personal data section. You'll notice that assessment or diagnosis will reflect the risk factors you selected on the left side. Provide details for the other physical examination and plan or intervention. You may copy and paste these details from the previous section. When you're all done, click on Submit to save the patient's information. Back in the patient list page, click on the reference number that's found underneath the patient's name. You will see that the system generated an electronic risk assessment checklist for high-risk pregnant women form. . You can print this form by pressing the Control key and P button on the keyboard. I will be demonstrating to you how to upload files for the patient, such as their ultrasound, CBC, and urinalysis, and to discharge the patient. Click on the Upload button under the action label. Underneath the file type label, click on the drop-down to select from the categories: ultrasound, CBC, urinalysis. Then choose the file you want to upload. In this case, we're uploading an ultrasound PDF file. If you click on the Add Row button above, you'll add additional rows for file uploading. The Delete Row button removes one row. Click on Submit once you're ready to upload the files. The uploaded files will appear below. Click on the file name if you want to view it. Click Delete if you want to remove the file. I will be discussing about discharging the patient next. Click on the Discharge button under the action portion. Provide all the details required for discharging the patient in this form. For the delivery outcome, birth attendant, status on discharge, and type of delivery, simply select from the list of options provided. For the final diagnosis part, select the correct ICD-10 code. You can type in the empty area to easily search for it. To remove the ICD-10 code, click the X button. You can also add multiple ICD-10 codes. Encode the discharge instruction, discharge diagnosis, and remarks. Click Submit to go ahead and discharge the patient. You can view all the discharged patients by clicking on the Patients button, then the Discharged Patients. You can view the patient's details by clicking their name like so. You can exit out of this form by clicking anywhere outside. To print this form, click the Print Form button located on the bottom right. If you click on the CSS button, you will then be greeted by a customer satisfaction survey. The patient will be the one to dictate their level of satisfaction with the service provided. Clicking the Track button will instead redirect you to tracking the patient's progress within the system. I'm going to show you how to refer a patient in this next part. Back in the patient list, scroll to the right side of the patient's record and click on the Refer button. Select the facility the patient will be referred to. You can also type the facility's name to find it easier. The pregnancy status, and the department the patient will head to, which is usually the OB department. Click the Send when you're done. After you've referred the patient, you'll notice the actions on the right side have now disappeared. This means that the patient was successfully referred to the other facility. I will show you how you can track the patient's referral status and more in this next part. We have this patient, Ms. Mylene Masala, who has already been referred to Sultan Kudarat District, Labak Hospital, to be our example. First, you're going to click on the referral button at the top, then click on Referred Patients. In the Referred Patients page, you'll see Ms. Mylene and her referral status. You'll notice that there's progress on her referral. It starts with referred, which is when a patient is referred to a different facility. Seen when a staff of the referred facility has seen the referral request in the incoming patient list. Accepted when the referral request was accepted. Admitted when the patient has been admitted in the facility. And discharged, the patient has been discharged from the facility. These 4 buttons will be our focus for this part. If you click on the View Form button here, you will see the patient's information. The Recode button is for communicating with the hospital about the patient, like if they need extra information about the patient's condition and etc. The Upload button is for uploading files of the patient like their CBC, urinalysis, and ultrasound. Click on the Choose File button to select the file you wish to upload. Select the type of file you want to upload on the right. Click on the Add row for additional files to be uploaded in one submission. Delete row is for removing a row for adding another file. Click Submit once you're done. Clicking on the file name on the left side will let you view the file. Delete is for removing the file you uploaded. The Issue and Concern button is for sending any issues or concerns you may have when referring the patient. Clicking the Cancel button will cancel the referral of the patient. You will need to provide a reason for why you want to cancel the referral. So we've finished referring the patient. Now I'm going to show how to receive a patient that has been referred. I'll be showing you how it's done from the point of view of the Sultan Kudarat District Labak Hospital. You'll notice that the referral label suddenly has a new notification that says it has one new patient referred to them. Click on it, then select the incoming category. The referred patient is now shown in the incoming patients list. Click on the View Form button underneath the patient to view their information. Click on the Accept button to accept the referral of the patient to your facility. In the Remarks portion, just type Accepted. In the Status/condition upon receipt at ER, type the condition of the patient at the time of receiving in the ER. In this case, we'll type High Risk, then click Accept. You can view all accepted patients in the Accepted Patient subcategory in the main menu. Before we proceed to the next step, I must explain the other functions that are available when receiving the patient. In this example, we have Ms. Mylene Masala, who has been referred to Sultan Kudarat District, Labak Hospital. Let's view her patient information. Aside from the accept and print form buttons, there's also the call request and recommend to redirect button available. By clicking the call request button, you will send a call request to the referring facility, which in this case is the Soxargan General Hospital. Let's go back to the patient's information again and try the recommend to redirect function. Use the recommend to redirect for situations like your facility is ill-equipped to handle the patient and etc. You'll get a prompt that asks if you're sure to refer the patient to another facility. For now, I'll just cancel. If you're struggling to exit out of the patient's information form by clicking outside of it, you can instead click the close button on the bottom left. Let's click yes this time and give a reason for the recommendation. Click send when done. In this step, I will show you how to admit the patient. In this demonstration, I'm going to use a different patient for the admission process. Click on the icon that represents a person in a wheelchair. Check the legend section to know what each icon means. In the remarks section, just type arrive, then click submit. After the patient status has been set to arrived, you're going to admit them next. Click on the patient admitted icon. Make sure the date and time of the patient's admission is correct. Click submit once done. I'll be discussing what each of the actions do in this next step. In this example, I'm going to show you what happens if ever you accept the patient, but they don't arrive within 3 hours. We have Ms. Ephioma Ford here, who was accepted yesterday, but wasn't able to arrive within the 3 hours time limit. We have Ms. Ephioma Ford here, who was accepted yesterday, but wasn't able to arrive within the 3 hours time limit. The only action you can do at this point is the patient didn't arrive. Go ahead and click the red button. Provide any remarks if any. Leave empty if none, then click submit. For this example, I'm going to provide a remark didn't arrive. If ever you were unable to accept the patient within 30 minutes, you will encounter this scenario. When you click Accept, you will see an incident log form pop up after the Accept Patient form. This is the warning you'll see first. Click on OK to proceed filing the incident log. Select the type of incident and the reason for the incident. In this case, it would be that we didn't notice the notification appeared. Click Submit once done. If ever the referred patient is dead on arrival, click the Dead on Arrival button to fill up the form. Click Submit once done. This next part will be about setting the arrived patient as OPD. Click on the Monitored as OPD button as seen on the legends. Encode the date and time in the following format. Click Submit once done. You'll see that the status of the patient has become monitored now. This next step will be about referring the patient to a different facility. Click on the Transfer Patient button. Provide remarks, the facility you wish to transfer the patient to, the department, and the pregnancy status of the patient. Click Refer once done. The patient is no longer on the accepted patient list. We can track their status in the transferred patient list. Click on Patients in the top left, then click Transferred Patients. You can see the patient is now here instead. Click on Track if you want to track their status. The next part will be the last in the series for the additional function for accepting a referred patient. It will cover the patient return function. The patient return is for when the patient returns for their next visit. First, we have to set the patient status to arrived. Once you're done with that, click the Patient Return button as you can see on the screen. Here, you will provide new data regarding the patient's information. For now, I'll only select one risk factor and leave the rest blank. But in a real setting, you will need to provide all the details. The patient discharge function will be the last part of this video. Click on the patient discharged icon. Encode all the details requested on the form. For the delivery outcome, birth attendant, status on discharge, and type of delivery, simply select from the following options provided. Last is the final diagnosis with ICD-10 code. You can immediately search what you're looking for by typing the ICD-10 code. You can select as many as needed. Encode the discharge instruction, discharge diagnosis, and remarks. Click Submit once you're done. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you learned a lot from this video. If you wish to learn more about the pregnancy tracking system, you can go ahead and read the manual provided in the system.